Hello, everybody. Hopefully this angle is going to work. Excited to chat about diffusing basics. I was going to say bake shop. No, diffuse. But when you diffuse, your home could smell like a bake shop. So I get a lot of questions about diffusing, why people would diffuse, what are the benefits, so many things. So I thought I'm just going to come in here and do a quick little workshop as a live, and it will be viewable kind of forever. So welcome. If you're coming in. Love to see you guys. So I'm going to keep this as short and concise as possible. You'll want to stay tuned to the end or come back and listen later because I have some resources, a little handout, which is a diffusing guide that you'll want to grab, and it's free, and just some other resources. So let's go ahead and kick things off. So I'm going to talk about the basics. I have some friends here, which I will touch on in a little bit. There are such a variety of diffusers that you can use in your home. And you can see, you've got this is the Aria, the Queen, and then we have one that's very compact and does a great job, and then we have a Desert Mist. All of them have wonderful features, but we really want to just talk about the basics of why you would diffuse. And so one of the reasons is that you get amazing emotional support. And I have notes here to keep me on track. So forgive me if I'm looking down and reading, but that keeps me on track. So part of my story, if you are unaware, I struggled with diagnosed clinical depression for well over 20 years. I was medicated for 16 years, and there came a point in my health journey that my doctor said I needed to get off of the antidepressants that I had been on for over 16 years. And if you or you know somebody who has taken antidepressants, typically we all want to get off of them, and we have tried many different times. And so for me, that was a really pivotal point for me because a doctor was saying I needed to get off, and I had tried before and not successful. So that is really kind of the jumping in point for me on what got me curious about essential oils and how I could use them to help me emotionally. And so that's a whole nother topic of my story, but just to kind of give you an avenue of why I got introduced or why I chose to look at essential oils. And it was for emotional support. And that is definitely one of the key pieces that makes using essential oils so powerful. So, and I will touch on that a little bit more. So that's just a little bit of my personal story. Maybe it resonates with you. Maybe you know someone. Maybe you have someone in your family that struggles emotionally. Oils diffused are powerful. So there are 3 ways that you can use essential oils. So I'll just share that, even though I'm going to focus on diffusing. You can use them aromatically, which is this. Aromatically is also just as simple as opening the bottle and breathing in. You do not even have to have a diffuser to use them aromatically. So you also have topically, which we're not going to talk on much today, and in Young Living essential oils, which is what I am talking about today, we can actually use them internally as a dietary supplement, and they're very effective. So those are just a powerful means to have something in your toolbox. So let's touch a little bit more in depth on emotional support. So did you know that your sense of smell is directly connected to the emotional center of your brain? When we diffuse oils like lavender or frankincense, it can help reduce stress, it can calm the mind, and even uplift our mood. It's one of the easiest way to support your emotions naturally. There's nothing toxic. There is nothing that is not what your body would put into use. And so that is one of the key pieces. That limbic part of our brain is powerful. That is the part that if you like maybe you smell chocolate chip cookies and it brings you back to a memory that you had when you were growing up, that is that part of your brain. It is powerful for creating new emotions, and you can train your body by using the essential oils and the smell and all of that to create new pathways, which is basically what happened to me. I was using oils, diffusing them, using them topically, and I was able to make huge progress in that. And I'm happy to chat more with any of you that want to talk about that. You can message me on that. But today I wanted to talk about part of our Cozy Fall Home Challenge is creating an atmosphere in our home for our family. I love empowering homemakers, and one of the things that we get to do as homemakers is create an atmosphere in our home. And it truly does rely on us. We get to set the tone. And so it is in how our home appears, whether, there's a lot of clutter or there's not. We have some capacity, right, to figure out what works for our family. Well, the same can be said in what sense that you have in your home. When somebody walks into your home, that's one of the things that they are first going to notice. They may notice, your surroundings, but what they smell is going to impact them in a huge way. And so it has always been, for the last 12 years nearly, it has been the thing that people mention when they come into my home, because they smell something that smells good. It helps put them in an uplifted mood. So it is very powerful. And I love that as homemakers, we can choose to do that for our family. And with the fall season also comes a way that we want to support immune systems and respiratory health. Diffusing is incredible for that. So you can use oils like I've got some eucalyptus here. You're probably familiar with that. You can use peppermint. Those are great respiratory oils. Also thieves, which I didn't grab here, is so powerful. I wanted to share a couple studies here briefly. If you would like these studies, just message me and I will link both of them, send you links where you can read in depth. But this is the power. Not only are essential oils great just for your emotions and making your home smell good, they are effective to support immune system and keep sickness down in your home. So here's the first one. A study by Weber State University found that diffused Thieves essential oil blend has a 99.96% kill rate against airborne bacteria after only 10 minutes of exposure. So 10 minutes of diffusing Thieves had that impact. So it goes on to talk in that study that one study showed a 90% reduction in the number of gram-positive, and it lists out a very specific organism, a bacterial organism that it's talking about, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a scientist, so me trying to pronounce those would be rather hilarious, but I'm happy to share the link with you. Then there is another study talking about thieves and 3 different bacterias that they used in diffusing with thieves. And that study said there was an 82% reduction in the M. luteus bioaerosol, a 96% reduction in the P. aerugobiosaur, anyway, several different other ones. So results for the time exposed threshold of diffused oil showed that after only 6 minutes, a 90% reduction of viability occurred. So that means that you have great power when you are diffusing thieves in your home by removing these bacteria that are just floating around and you're eliminating them. So I love those 2 studies. So one of the things with fall and making our homes cozy, and it's creating that soft light, right, that we want to do, which for me, it was candles. And candles were the one way that I also created the scent in my home for my family. I was a candle addict. And I'm not going to say I never burn candles. That's unrealistic, right? So I have some safer options for candles that I use now on occasion, but primarily my way to create ambiance and atmosphere in my home is with a diffuser. So I can share the links to those as well. So somebody asked, is it possible to cause stains on the wall from too much oil in your diffuser? I have never had that happen. I've never heard of that happening to somebody either. So that would be my answer. Sorry, I caught that question, so I thought I would just touch on it. So like I said, there are some candles that I do burn, but I was very aware of why I don't want to be burning candles all the time in my home. So there is a hidden danger of fragrance. So if you have dug in at all to understand the word fragrance, there is truly nothing that can be defined as, it's a fragrance, but we don't know really what that is. Most candles contain something called fragrance or paraffin wax, which can emit VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. These are the same types of chemicals found in things like paint thinners or air fresheners. So air fresheners too, I don't use those in my home. I don't use aerosol air fresheners. I don't use plugins that go in the wall. No. So as someone that has recovered from an autoimmune issue, I'm very concerned about not putting things in my exposure to my body that my body is going to struggle to know what to do with, right? So health impacts. When you burn candles made with synthetic fragrance, you could be inhaling chemicals linked to headaches, respiratory issues, and more. According to the Environmental Working Group, exposure to these fragrance chemicals can actually cause nausea, forgetfulness, and irritate your airways. I don't want that, right? I'm taking great care to create an atmosphere of health in my home, right? And so, yes, that would negate all of the effort that I'm doing. So definitely for me, a safer option is to diffuse and have that at my fingertips. So we will jump in here with diffusing. But again, I diffuse or I burn candles on occasion, right? And so it's just being very particular on the candles that you are using in your home and understanding what things you don't want in your candles. So let's talk about diffusing effectively and how easy it is. So diffusing in different spaces. You can set up diffusers anywhere. We even have a diffuser in our car, okay? And we're not that crazy. So I have a diffuser in our kitchen. I have 2 in this living area. We have 1 in our guest bathroom. We have them in our bedrooms, literally everywhere. I have 1 above my desk where I work. So it is amazing. If you homeschool and you are not diffusing in the area where your kids are homeschooling, you are missing out, because you could have a simple diffuser like this, diffusing some peppermint with a little bit of rosemary, and you will see better focus for your kiddos. And if you're working from home too, or even if you can have a diffuser in your workspace at work, you are going to find that your cognitive thought process is much better. Rosemary is one that has been proven to help with memory and cognitive function. So I love that. Obviously, we are probably very familiar with lavender and using that for making us sleepy and sleeping well. And so you can simply take lavender, have a diffuser by your bedside, start it up before you head to bed, and then you can go to sleep peacefully. Great question about dogs and pets. So one of the things which is really great with Young Living, since they are pure, unadulterated oils, which means they are just plant essential oil. There is nothing that is not natural put into that bottle, and you are assured with our seed to seal guarantee. And so we have 2 dogs, we have had a cat, we have had a guinea pig. My son also diffuses and has rabbits. I'm trying to think of all of the pets. So one of the things that I love to say is that there are not oils per se that you need to avoid straight across, but I always love to make the suggestion, if you have a pet and you are diffusing, you want to have that diffuser in a place where your pet can leave the room if they don't like that scent, right? And so I would avoid diffusing in a bedroom with a door shut and then having your dog or your cat in there. If that just didn't agree with them or they weren't a happy camper with that, they should be able to leave the room. I will tell you, our golden doodle, who was 14 and a half and passed away a year ago, 2 years ago, I would diffuse this oil here, Stress Away, which I fondly call Mom Crack. She literally, it would be on my nightstand and she would be up her nose, her snout, right next to the diffuser. She loved smelling that oil. So with pets, like I said, you want to be using pure, unadulterated essential oils, and you want to be diffusing in a space where your animal could leave the room if in fact that just wasn't their thing. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so talked about many diffusers in my home so that they are covering, all of the areas where my family is congregating. So some of my go-to combinations, especially for emotions. Lavender is amazing. This oil, which is a blend that Young Living has exclusively, is called Joy. This was my gateway oil for helping me climb out of that hopeless state. I use this in the diffuser constantly, and I also placed it on my heart. It was one that is still to this day a favorite. Another one for emotions, orange. Oh my gosh, this is so good and uplifting. You just put that in. I love to put it in the morning. And my 14-year-old comes upstairs and he could be in a bad mood, but it doesn't last for long because orange literally is an anecdote to that. And what I love too, it is a very frugal oil. So it is one that you can diffuse often because it is great for the budget. So, and then I mentioned Stress Away. That one is wonderful. Bergamot is also wonderful for emotions. So lots and lots of different oils that you can use for emotions for sure. So let's talk about a few just frequently asked questions. How many drops of oil should you use? I seem like that's a topic that I get often. So typically when you first start diffusing, I always kind of say go slow. So for any of these diffusers that I have here, you might fill them with the water and maybe you just start with 3 or 4 drops of whatever essential oil you want to choose. And then you may end up going up. So I would say now, kind of I'm a veteran diffuser. I probably add 8 to 12 drops to any of these diffusers. That's just my go-to. So just depends on how much fragrance you like and, the area of your room and all of that. So, and if the scent isn't strong enough, that's when either your space is too large for having like one diffuser or you aren't adding enough drops of essential oils. So, and I talked a little bit about can diffusing replace your candles? It totally can. This is a better option. But like I said, I still on occasion have candles that I burn. Most of the time they are unscented because I don't know what that fragrance is really consisting of. So it's better for me to have an unscented candle just for the ambiance and then still have my diffuser going. So I'll just mention here, this is my homemade pumpkin spice blend. Young Living just came out with a pumpkin spice blend that they sell, and I am waiting to get it. It is gonna arrive any day. I was hoping to have it by now. But so you can make your own blends, and that's what I did here, and I have a recipe. It's in my stories today, so if you are already an oily user, go grab it because this is called a diffuser bomb. You can make up your blend in a large bottle and then it's all mixed up. So this uses, I think, 5 different bottles of oil. So instead of me going around like this and going to every one of my diffusers and going through all 5 bottles to drop 1 to 2 or 3 drops in the diffuser. I just make this up ahead of time by, I think I quadrupled the recipe, but anyway, and then you just take this little dropper, got these little dropper tops off of Amazon that make this cute, and this is just a bottle that was empty and I took the label off and I reused it. So, so that one is a little good one. So pumpkin spice this time of year, anything with clove, orange, vanilla, cinnamon bark, nutmeg, all those are essential oils. So you can have fun creating different blends, you know, and create little different atmosphere in your home. So, okay, so a few ideas on the candle alternatives that I mentioned earlier was, you know, getting non-scented candles. Also, there are so many options that are battery operated candles now. So I do have some of those, which are really handy as well. It's nice because these diffusers also have, it's kind of hard to see right now, but you have a setting where it's a flicker. So it does give that little bit of look like it is, like a candle, and so you get that glowing kind of look. So that helps with your ambiance, which is really great. So, all right, let me kind of close us out. If you guys have questions, if you're still with me here, I will be a little more cognizant of looking for the questions here as we wrap up. But so a few other oils I mentioned. Lavender is great for calming. I mentioned my favorite, Stress Away, which is Mom Crack. Then you've got lemon, which is just so good for diffusing a couple drops in your kitchen as you're cleaning, or maybe you didn't even get a chance to clean and you have some company coming over. If you put this in, I'm telling you, people are going to walk in your house and be like, oh my goodness, your house looks and smells so great. They are not going to see the things. So it really does help for sure. So here we are. Little bit about diffusing, how it helps with your emotions, how it can be super effective for your immune system and helping to keep your family healthy. If you would like those 2 study links, make sure you send me a message. I'm happy to send them over. But if you are like, I'm curious about these oils and maybe I would like a diffuser, or maybe I want some different oils to check out, then go ahead and comment here the word pumpkin, and I will send over a link that will give you this diffusing guide, which is just a little guide that talks about basics, and then also a list to some candles that I do purchase that are safer options. And then you'll also get a list that has some great diffusers that come with some oils. They're great little bundles. They are the most cost-effective way to get started. But I also did list some of the oils that are my favorite, especially for the fall season. And I will tell you, you could get a free bottle of vanilla with your order if you make it your first loyalty order. And I give you details with that. So if you reply or comment here with the word pumpkin. So, okay, let me scroll back up. I think I missed, yes. Somebody asked, what are your go-to diffuser blend for sleep? Okay, I love Sacred Mountain. So Sacred Mountain is a blend with Young Living, and it has some blue spruce in it and has cedarwood and a couple others. It is literally, I call it my hug in a bottle. I love it. But another oil, which I didn't grab here, but you could mix lavender and cedarwood. Cedarwood is so calming, and it's amazing for the pineal gland as well. And so it really does help your body settle in. So I would say that is one of my favorites. And I do have diffuser highlight that you might check out for some other options too. Okay, let me keep scrolling here to see if any other questions came in that I can answer really quick. Okay, it doesn't look like it. All right, Let me scroll up and see if there's any other ones that I missed because I was busy looking at my notes here. So, well, if you guys caught me and you don't follow me, make sure you follow me. Today is day 1 of the Cozy Fall Home Challenge. We're doing 5 days this week, each day just kind of touching on something you can do in your home intentionally to create just a cozy spot for your family as the seasons transition. And I know many of you, it is still very hot where you are. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have started to transition. So I am very much welcoming the fall and just creating some little things for my family to really want to come home, and we can create that atmosphere where our family just feels kind of like we just give them a big hug when they walk in the door. The fall is just such a treasured season for being able to do that for our family. And so just diffusing is just one piece of the puzzle, which has been profound for our family. And I know so many people that start diffusing are like, how in the world? So yeah, go ahead and comment. You've got different varieties you can buy. Somebody said, how much are they? Bundles you can get a bundle, I think, for as low as $85. There's just different varieties. And if you are, curious and have some specific needs, message me. I'm here to help you just decide what is the best option for you. So yeah, so there's lots of different choices. You could just pick up a couple oils, or you could pick up one of the starter bundles that saves you the most. And if you are a new customer, you also can use a code SHAREYL and save an extra 10%. So that is there as well. So, okay, I think, let me just scroll down really quick because I think I've got it. Is there a scent that helps with productivity? Peppermint, rosemary. There are a couple other blends that you could do. There is actually one that is called Motivation, which I have been known to use on occasion. But I think for the most part, I love being able to get some of the singles like rosemary and peppermint. I would say peppermint and lemon together would be so good for productivity. I also love orange. And so remember I mentioned those citrus oils are going to be one of the biggest bangs for your buck. They are so I want to say frugal. I mean, a bottle of lemon like this, which has 280 drops, I think is around $12 or $13. So it is very frugal, and you are getting top line. Young Living is the world's leader in essential oils. We as a company have been around for 30 years. And so we are pure. I have been to farms where the oils are grown. I've seen the process from weeding. I've weeded around lavender plants, and then we have harvested and put it in a bottle. I see the whole process. And if I'm going to go that extra mile to give my family the best and be really cognizant of toxins in my home, I want to know that what I'm diffusing is not going to be stuff that we're breathing in, and that is not going to be good. So, so for me, it is great. So yes, it is going to be, somebody asked, can I upload the video? It is going to be saved as a live, so you will be able to watch it again. So yes. So again, if you're joining now and you want that little information, just comment pumpkin and my little robot should send it over to you. If not, I will try to figure out a way to make it happen. So, all right, you guys, there you go. Diffusing Basics for our cozy fall home challenge. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you learned something.